we're back at it again. We're in a new state, Minnesota. You wouldn't think Minnesota would be so hard to get somebody from, but I've gotten a lot of responses, and Minnesota has not been one of them yet.
Minnesota nice isn't real, I guess.
They're afraid to come on podcast.
Exactly.
So, Destiny, thanks for joining. If you would start off by sharing a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do outside of hunting.
Okay. I'm from Minnesota, born and raised. I live more in like a central area. I'm a dental hygienist, so I do that pretty much full time outside of daily life, and then spend a lot of time with just family and friends. Pretty easy gal.
How'd you get into the dental hygienist? Is that something you've always wanted to do?
No, originally it was nursing, but my mom's a dental assistant, and then my stepmom is also a dental assistant. So kind of just runs in the family, I guess.
You like putting people through torture,
It's not torture.
twisting on their mouth?
I don't pull teeth, I just clean them.
There you go.
Yeah.
So is that something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I like doing it more so to help people, doing it, changing lives. I work at a community office technically. It's not like a state office, but I work with a lot of foster kids and underprivileged people. So it's definitely rewarding.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad you're doing something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
So I know we talked a little bit back and forth, and the reason I love doing this podcast compared to some of the other hunting podcasts, they want to bring on all the influencer hunters and stuff like that, but there's a lot of other people that have different stories on how they got started, and it sounds like you're one of them. So could you walk us through when you got started, all that good stuff?
Yeah. So I'm pretty new with hunting. I've only been hunting for about 4 years, 5 years, I guess. Grew up with stepdad hunted rifle season, hated it, was not a fan of hunting. And then my grandpa and my uncle used to always hunt, and that was something they enjoyed doing. But growing up, I just never got into it until about 5 years ago. My dad started bow hunting, and he was successful with that, harvested his first animal, and I was so intrigued by it. And I was like, I want to hunt. And he goes, go buy a bow. And I had the typical story that is first timer's luck, I guess you could say. Got a bow and went out hunting. I think it was my second week out, and it was cold, snowing, and I had a little small buck run in front of me and smoked him with my bow, and the rest is history.
You got hooked after that?
Yeah, pretty much.
So walk us through being a kid and being around hunting, but not really getting into it. You said it kind of wasn't really for you. Kind of describe that. Is it something that maybe, I don't know, you were a girl's girl and didn't want to join that force, or you were disgusted by it? I'm curious to hear your thoughts there.
Honestly, I just had no, I guess, like, interest in it when I was younger because it was more of, like, the guys thing, and my grandpa, I don't think, would have ever asked me to go hunting when I was young, but now, oddly enough, we hunt together, which is super cool, but it never grossed me out. I thought it was cool. It just wasn't something that I did. I definitely was an outdoorsy girl, more of a tomboy growing up, but hunting was kinda just like the guys go do it. They're gone for 2 weeks, they come back and bring back the venison.
Were they taking you out when you were younger or not?
No, nope, it was just my grandpa and my stepdad and my uncle. They would go out, do their thing, and then the girls would stay home and keep the house afloat, and they'd come back with deer. So they never really asked me. I think they would have assumed that I didn't wanna do it, and probably at that point in my life, I wouldn't. Minnesota was a lot worse with weather back then. It was way more snow early on, freezing cold, so I don't know if I wanted to really sit in a deer stand. My stepdad, he doesn't even hunt anymore because he was like, "It's miserable, it's so cold," and you just sit there, but he was rifle hunting. No one in my family really bow hunted until when I started, which was like 5 years ago.
That's so interesting. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 3 little brothers.
What's the age gap there?
My oldest brother is 16, my youngest brother is 5, and then I have a 10-year-old brother.
Okay. The reason I ask is, are they going out with your dad and grandpa?
They go out with my dad. They'll sit in the blind. My middle brother, he was the most interested in hunting and like the outdoors. He's in Boy Scouts and loves that, but he doesn't enjoy, I guess, like sitting in the blinds. Like he'll go out and he'll sit and he'll do it, but I don't think he necessarily has interest in hunting. We've tried to get him bows and get him, like, guns, shotguns, and stuff, and he's just, like, doesn't want anything to do with it, and then my 16-year-old brother has no interest at all.
Really?
No interest. He's in that, like, phase where he's just like, "Nope." I've asked him to come sit with me, and he's like, "I'm not gonna freeze my butt off to go maybe see a deer."
Too busy chasing girls or playing sports?
Exactly.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. So you grew up kind of by the cities, you said, or north?
Probably, like, 35 minutes from, like, Minneapolis.
Growing up, what was the hunting culture there? Mainly gun hunting. A lot of people bow hunted, like when you're in high school, college.
I feel like bow hunting has blown up a lot in the last, I would say, 10 years. I feel like most of my friends growing up didn't bow hunt. They all just would do rifle, and that was the 2 weeks that you get out of the year to go hunt. But a lot of my friends now that were, like, older do bow hunt, but no one in my family bow hunted until recently.
What do you think caused the shift of going from rifle to bow? Because Iowa's a unique state where if you want to hunt during the rut, you got to use a bow. I think Minnesota, you can gun hunt during the rut.
Yeah, it's the end of rut typically, but it's you still get the deer in active rut. Yeah. I think that bow hunting is just more of a challenge, and I think it's more fun, to be honest. I think sitting in a stand and you're hundreds of yards away from a deer isn't as fun. So I feel like it's more of a challenge, and I feel like my generation is more go-getter, I would say, in a sense. So I feel like they enjoy the bow hunting more because it's just more of a challenge, and that's why I think it's becoming more popular, and that's why I prefer to bow hunt. I really have no interest to gun hunt.
How does it work in Minnesota if you have bow hunting early rut, like you said, then you're switching to gun late rut? Are people just setting the bow aside to pull out the rifle?
Some people do. Yeah, I feel like people will get both tags, and if they fill their bow tags, ours goes till January 1st, I believe, for bow. So they'll hunt up until rifle and then rifle hunt for 2 weeks. And if they get a deer, then awesome. If not, they keep bow hunting.
That's so interesting. Yeah, gun season doesn't open up until next weekend in Iowa.
Yeah. So is that like rut for you guys then right now or no?
It'd be like the very, very like I'm gonna go this weekend, and normally the last weekend of November, a lot of bucks will be on their feet trying to chase or find the last couple of does.
Right.
It's probably one of my favorite weekends, but once the Orange Army comes through, everything just gets cut off.
Yeah. That's how it's been for me the last couple weeks. I've been trying to hunt and bow hunting, and I feel like I haven't seen anything but just does and fawns because all the bucks are just gone.
So you can bow hunt during rifle season?
Yep.
Really?
I typically do because all the gunshots make the deer just go crazy, running in all directions, so you really have no idea what you're gonna see. You could see a deer that you've never seen on camera before. Yeah, you just have to wear orange and hope that you're in no one's shooting lane.
That's so interesting. I was gonna ask you something, but I forgot. So, okay, this is what I was gonna ask. So your hunting situation, I've talked to a lot of people for this podcast in public, private. So what's your situation up there in Minnesota?
So there is a lot of public land, but it's really hunted. And then there's like nooks in little private spots or public spots that are really good, but they're really difficult to get to. Right now I have a public land that you have to draw for, which is interesting. I've never heard of something like that, but I did that this year. Me and my dad did that. And then he owns some land up north. He bought a house up north specifically for hunting, but he hasn't had like any deer on there. So we haven't been hunting that. So I've been more public, and then my grandpa has private in Elk River, which is kind of north. So I've been hunting that as well, but not big deer there, just smaller eights,
What part of Minnesota?
more northern.
Because like the Duluth area is supposed to be pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's further. That's like an hour 45 from where I am.
Okay. Then everybody has like a unique, like there's big deer everywhere, but not everybody's blessed.
Right.
There's certain places of Iowa that have giants, and I'm not in one of those yet. But how would you describe like the class of deer where you're hunting?
I know people that are hunting probably 20 minutes from me that shoot massive deer every single year. But where I've been hunting, I just see like typical eights, smaller deer, nothing crazy. There was a farm that I was hunting with my dad the last like 3 years, and he would shoot a giant on it every year. but I would see just little small small deer. So he would just get lucky with the one coming in during like rut or something.
Or maybe you're just unlucky.
Unlucky, I guess. I bring him luck. Every time I hunt with him, he shoots a giant, and then I don't see anything.
How come he doesn't let you shoot the giants?
We're in different stands, so it's
Okay.
just where he's sitting.
If you were to split it up percentage-wise, what percent do you think is public versus private where you're hunting? What you hunt?
What I hunt specifically,
You know,
I hunt more so private than I do public. Public is just kind of scary being a girl, I would say, hunting, because I go out by myself and kind of do my own thing. I don't need somebody to go with me. So it's a little bit more sketchy being a girl going to a public land 'cause you don't really know who's out there or whatnot. And guys can be kind of creepy when it comes to female hunters. So I try to stick to private. If I do public, I try to get my dad to go out with me or something along those lines. Myself personally, I'm doing probably like 90% private land.
okay. We'll get into the whole women hunting later, but do you think if you were forced to hunt 100% public, would you still be hunting, or do you think the stress and the competition would kinda drive you away from hunting?
I think I would do it. I would really have to see some, like, deer sign, which the public land that I have hunted and sat many times, there is a lot of deer sign. It's just so much land, and I don't wanna put, like, cameras up in public, stuff will get taken, and same with, like, setting sets up. So, I would still do it. It would just obviously be a lot more difficult, which bow hunting in itself is already a grind, so it's just part of the game.
Have you hunted any other states besides Minnesota?
Yep, I hunt Oklahoma, so I was there this year and last year, and Oklahoma's a 2 buck state, and I shot the biggest deer I probably would have ever shot last year, and we lost him, which was super unfortunate. I was like, "I'm never hunting again." I was so sad. I cried. Oklahoma has big deer, very, very big deer there.
How'd you get set up in Oklahoma?
My boyfriend at the time had a buddy that ran an outfitter there, and so he got us down there last year, and now he actually is a part of the outfitter in Oklahoma. So I was down there this year as well.
He moved to Oklahoma?
Nope, he drives there from Minnesota. Yeah,
You said Oklahoma has big deer. That's kinda surprising to hear because that's not one you would think has big deer.
big deer, like
Tell me
giant.
more.
So my boyfriend, he ended up shooting a like 208-inch deer, I believe it was, which is insanity.
Really?
I am not joking, it's insane. Before that, it was like 186-inch, I think it was 186 inches, but just giants everywhere. And you can bait in Oklahoma, which is way better than Minnesota because you can't bait. So that definitely helps. And the deer are just, they're brutes in Oklahoma. They're huge, big body. They're so strong. In Minnesota, I haven't seen that yet. I know they're here. I know they're here. I have friends that shoot them every year. But yeah, there are giants in Oklahoma.
Are you gonna keep going down to Oklahoma?
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's big deer no matter where you go, you just kinda have to find them.
Yep, exactly. In Minnesota, people don't really manage deer, so you can shoot whatever, which is, I feel like, a big problem. Obviously, for people that have private land and can kinda monitor their deer in a sense, like, "Okay, we're gonna let him grow, we can shoot him next year," type of thing, but Minnesota's not like that, so it's I feel like with things not being regulated, it makes it more difficult, especially on, like, public land to be shooting a bigger deer. I know people do it, but it's harder to do.
Do you wanna start traveling more states?
I would love to. I was actually had the opportunity to go to Illinois this week, but with it being Thanksgiving and the snow, I ended up not going.
Your boyfriend left home without you?
No, he's actually in Kansas hunting, but I was had the opportunity to go to Illinois for a hunt, more southern Illinois.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So, let's jump back to how you got started. So, did you say your dad always hunted and just recently started picking up bow hunting?
No, so my stepdad did rifle hunting, and then my dad my family split, but my dad never hunted, never got into hunting ever, and had no interest up until probably 10 years ago when he started bow hunting just to get him out of the house and do something, and he loved it, and then me kinda seeing him and, like, how fun it was and the passion behind it, I literally was like called him, I was like, "I wanna bow hunt." He's like, go buy a bow. Let's go." And I was like, "Okay." And then I started shooting my bow and I was like, "I'm not bad at this. I can actually shoot this thing," Like I didn't know what to expect. I was like I didn't put a whole lot of money into it. I got a cheaper bow. I ended up getting a kid's bow because of my draw length and all of that. So I didn't want to invest thousands of dollars into a bow. So I was shooting like a kid's bear bow, which it did the trick. It got me my first deer. But yeah, my dad wasn't really into hunting until recently. And then my stepdad only did a rifle. He only did that because it was like 2 weeks out of the year he'd go do it. My grandpa and my uncle were passionate about it though.
Has your dad ever talked to you about his journey to getting started? Did he have a buddy talk him into it, or what was the situation there?
So he used to live in Minneapolis and then he moved to Oak Grove, which is more north. And I think he was just more so in that environment that was more country. So he was like, "Oh, like what is there to do out here?" And I think his friends out there did have that hunting mentality. They hunted shotgun, rifle, and they did like bow hunting. And so I think they introduced it to him. And then he ended up introducing it to me.
That's so interesting because people that don't bow hunt probably think it's some sort of like artifact. Like, who would go out there and sit with a stick and bow or stick and arrow and try shooting a deer?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Oh, it's super crazy. My coworkers, that's what they all say. They're like, "Wait, so you're using a gun?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, that's right. You're using an arrow. Like that actually kills something?"
So it's crazy. How long did your dad hunt before you started to tag along?
Probably like 4 years, I would say.
Did he try getting you to go sit with him at all?
Not really. I feel like he thought I had no interest in it. And then when he started hunting, I was in hygiene school and I was so busy and didn't really have time to honestly do anything. I was in an accelerated program, so I sped my school process up. But I was like midway through school, and then that's when I was like, I want to hunt. He was like, let's do it. I feel like he just thought that I never would have wanted to. So when I was like, let's go, and he was all on board for it.
More times spent with his daughter. What could go wrong?
Right? Yeah. I know his wife actually wanted to once I got into it, she was like, "I wanna bow hunt, 'cause, like, I wanna be a part of this," and she tried to bow hunt, she was like, "Nope, you can keep that, Destiny, this is not for me."
Is your family pretty close?
It's split, but I have, like, my dad's side, my mom's side, but I'm very close with them. I feel like I'm the common ground to try to keep everything together.
The peacekeeper?
Yeah, pretty much.
I could see that. I could see
Yeah.
that. So you got started, you bought a kid's bow. How long did you use the kid's bow?
I had it for I bought my Matthews last year for archery season, so I had it for 3 years or 2 years, and I tried turkey hunting with that bow, I
Oh
tried
my
deer hunting
gosh.
with that bow, and I had no problem with it. Honestly, I loved it until I met, like, my boyfriend, he was like, "You are not shooting this bow anymore." It's like, "What do you mean? It does the trick." And he was like, "No." I had a turkey fail with that bow, and that was an embarrassing story that we could talk about later, but at that moment, it was like, "It's time to get a big girl bow." But it did me well for the years I used it.
So when you bought that bow, I'm assuming price was a factor getting started. Was it something where you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm really gonna fall in love with this, see if I enjoy it? Is that kind of your thought process?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So I went to Cabela's and then I went to Sportsman's, which are just like sport shops. I don't know if you have that where you're from, but it's just like a sports shop. And so I went in there and I saw the bows they had. I didn't want to spend like too much money, but I invested enough to get something that they were like, you could harvest with it. So that's kind of where I went with it. I didn't know if I was going to like it. I didn't really want to invest a whole bunch of money. Plus, I was in college at the time. So I was struggling, so I ended up going with the kids' bow. It fit me, and it fit me better than the girls' bows that they had, so I just used that for 3 years, and it did what it needed to do.
Kids bow, what are you, like 5'2" or something?
I am.
Are you really? Is that what you are?
Yeah.
Lucky guess.
Yep.
So you bow hunted for a few years,
Mm,
realized that you enjoy it, you're not too bad of a shot, so you upgraded.
mhm.
Walk me through that. Just did you do your research on what you wanted to shoot? Did you know anything about bow brands and cost and everything when you bought your first bow?
With my first bow, that one is the kid's bow, but the second bow, I was told, like, it's time to upgrade the bow, so I was like, "Okay." So I went to Archery Country, which they have, like, all the new and improved bows in there, and my dad shoots a Hoyt, so he was pushing for me to get a Hoyt. He's like, "I think you'd like it, they're lighter bows." And then my boyfriend shoots only Matthews, and he's like, "Nope, you're shooting Matthews and only Matthews." So I ended up going there, and looking at a couple bows, and I ended up getting the new Matthews Lift, which was last year's version. And originally I went in trying to get a girl's bow, which Matthews was fine. And they were like, the guy's lift is actually lighter than the women's bow. So they put a lot of women on the guy's bow, which is interesting to me. So it was a change because my kid's bow was really light. So then going from that to a man's bow, even though it's lighter than the women's bow, so they said it was a change. It was very interesting. I was like, this bow is a lot heavier to hold up. And it was just obviously it's a way better bow, better quality. I love it. But also that bow was an investment. So, when I left, I called my dad and I cried, and I was like, "Dad, can I return it?" And he's like, "No, you need it." I had buyer's remorse at first.
Did
I
you
love it now, though.
buy it, like, fully decked out or just bare bow? Because you can spend just as much on the accessories as the bow.
Oh, no, it was bare and then bought everything there and had it all set up there, so it was a nice bill.
Well, I'm sure you can spend 3 grand, no problem.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "What am I doing?" And then my dad was like, "You're gonna have it for the rest of your life. It's an investment." I'm like, "Yep, you're right, dad. You're right."
You say that until they come out with something new in a couple of years, you're like, "Ugh."
I know. I know. Every year they release a new bow, and I'm like, "Well, my Matthews lift is gonna do the trick for a while."
So it's just a massive upgrade over what you were shooting before in terms of shootability and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, it's completely different. The only thing that does suck with that bow is my draw length. I'm on the end of it, like, the very end for that bow since it's a man's bow, and my bow gets thrown out of whack very easily. So just from practicing, it gets messed up. I'm not sure what gets messed up on it, but the guys at Archery Country told me that that could happen because I'm on the end of the spectrum of that bow. So just practicing will make my arrow go like crazy. And that happened to me last year in Oklahoma. And that's how I ended up losing that deer. I practiced every day just in between sits, and it ended up taking my bow out of tune, and my arrow ended up, like, deflecting. It was bad. I had no power behind it.
What is your draw length?
It's, like, at the end of it. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's not good. It's very low.
You're pretty small, so
Yeah, yeah. It's very small. And so when I was practicing with that bow, it would be fine, and then all of a sudden, it's like that last shot, it would throw my bow out of tune. So and I had no power behind it. When I shot that deer, my arrow penetrated about that much.
really? Do you know how much you're pulling back?
I think it was like 50 or 51, I think.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know what the legal is in Minnesota. I think it's like 40 something, but yeah, we had to tune it up or yeah, we tuned it up last year because of it deflecting. I mean, I haven't had that issue with it this year. My arrow went all the way through on my deer this year, which I was very happy about. I thought it stuck in him and he ran with it in him and we ended up finding my arrow went all the way through and I was so pumped because last year I ended up contacting 2 deer and it just barely penetrated. Super unfortunate.
Yeah, that is pretty unfortunate. How often are you shooting?
During hunting season, in the summer, I wanna practice more, I definitely need to practice more, but once hunting season's close, I live pretty close to, like, a just, like, a shooting range, so I went there this summer, and then in between, I'll hunt or I'll shoot, like, at my grandpa's or at my dad's and practice. I live in an apartment, so I'm definitely not practicing at my apartment, but
I was gonna ask you because I live in town too. Luckily, I have a pretty good sized backyard, but it's
yeah.
is it a challenge to find a place to shoot? It doesn't sound like it's too bad.
No, there's a really nice range, like, 5 minutes from my place that they have, like, 3D stuff set up and just normal archery range, which is nice outside, which sucks in Minnesota, but there's indoor ranges too.
Do you get some funny looks walking out of your apartment with this bow?
When I leave this place to go hunt and I have all my camo on, it's actually insane. People are like, "What is this girl doing?" And I don't really live in an area where people hunt, I would say. I live in more of just like a suburban area right now. And so when I have all my camo on and I'm going to hunt or I'm coming home from a hunt, I definitely get looks. They're like, "What is that girl doing?"
You're not supposed to see me. I have camouflage on.
I know.
People don't really understand, but yeah, so let's switch gears here for a little bit. I was going to save this for later. So you work in a dental office, a dentist office. What would you say as a hunter, non-hunters find most weird about you hunting? Do they find it weird? Are they fascinated with it? What don't they understand?
Like just the people that I tell that don't
Yeah,
know.
like you talked about your coworkers not understanding the whole stick and arrow thing. Are they just on a different planet when you're trying to describe it to them?
I think so. They listen to me. I think a lot of people are intrigued, especially when girls hunt. Just in general, I think girls, it's kind of shocking to people when they say they hunt, but I do like best of both worlds. I'm very girly girl as well as like hunting. So when I tell people I hunt, they are shocked, absolutely shocked. And then when I tell them I bow hunt, it's like, you what? And I'm like, oh, it's so cool. But my coworkers, they listen and they're intrigued. I think it's opened their eyes to them a lot. I've had a lot of them actually ask me, like, "Can I come sit with you in the blind and just see what it's about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but you have to wear camo." And like, I told them, like, you have to get decenter. They're like, "What?" But they're all really intrigued by it and they think it's really cool that I do it. So,
It is pretty cool that you do it. I think so since I post a lot on social media and stuff like that, and I've had women on, some of the comments are very frustrating, like get back in the kitchen and stuff like that. It just irritates me.
yeah. People don't say that to me. I think it's more of just like a shock, but they don't say like degrading things to me in that sense. Like I haven't been told like you're a girl, you shouldn't be hunting. I've had a lot of people rally around me and be like, that's so cool rather than degrade me. And I know some girls have that where people just hate on them. Luckily I haven't had that. I have a lot of people that are intrigued that I do it, especially with knowing my other side. Like I like to dress up and wear heels and get my nails done and go out, but I'll do that and I'm still going to go hunt and have my nails on and it's the same thing, you know.
Yeah, I love it when women hunt, especially if they're ambitious, kind of like you, doing their own thing, going out by themselves. I think it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's super cool. I think it shows a lot about who you are as a person. It's definitely like an independent role. You can do it.
So let me ask you this: social media. You post a little bit of hunting, but not a ton.
Mhm.
Do you want to post more, or are you worried about backlash? Because I think more women need to educate other women that women can hunt as good as men.
I agree with that. I would love to. I had an Instagram before the one that I have now, and I had a bunch of posts on it, and I did have like hunting posts like on my actual page, but I made a new Instagram account. So I haven't posted anything on it yet. I'll post on my like story of me hunting and whatnot or the deer I kill, but I want to do something with social media. I just haven't. I'm still so new at it. I don't consider myself like a pro by any means. I have so much learning to do. And I feel like I kind of want to do that before I'm out here trying to post and blow up on my social media with hunting. But I definitely post things and I don't get backlash or bad comments or anything. I definitely get a lot of support by people that I know. And I would love to do something with social media with hunting, but I'm not a full-time hunter. I do it for fun and like things to do outside of work and family. But I know there's a lot of women that do it like this is my thing, which I would love to do that, but I'm a dental hygienist and have a full-time job. So,
That's the thing that I won't say you're wrong about, but people portray this image that they're a professional hunter and it's all they do. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast. I think that's BS for a lot of people. I think they just, I won't say fake, but that's what they want people to see.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
but that's social media. You post what you want people to see, you know? So, I get that for sure. I know a lot of people that have done a lot with social media when it came to hunting, and I think some of them, like, get paid for it now to an extent, which that's awesome, like, good for them. If that was the case for me, then I'd probably be posting a lot more too on social media with hunting, but it's just not a priority to me. I do it for fun, and I do it to spend time with my family and kind of get out there, and it's time for myself as much as I'm, like, fine, and I'm go through day to day with life just fine, but when I go hunt, it's you sit in the silence and you're alone and you can think, and it's just a lot of time just to yourself, but I don't do it for the social media aspect, I guess. I'm sure if I really tried, I could do it and probably be successful with it because not a lot of women do it, and the ones that do it and post are pretty successful when it comes to social media with all of that and just promoting hunting and all of that, but that's not really something I care to do, to be honest. I just do it for fun, and I do it to spend time with my family and get away.
I was kind of a ghost on social media until I started trying hunting business. I mean, I could get by. I don't have Snapchat or anything, but a lot of negativity. It's terrible.
It is, yeah, judgment, and it's a lot of people that don't like you that are on your stuff, and it's like, well, I'm good on all that.
So you mentioned hunting's kind of your getaway. What do you most enjoy about hunting? Is it just escaping reality, spending time by yourself, spending time with your family?
All the above. I like going out, like, if I'm having a bad day and I wasn't even gonna go sit, I'll be like, "I'm just gonna go sit for an hour." Like, even if I know I'm not gonna see anything, like, I've done that a lot, honestly. This season, I've just been like, "I'm just gonna go." I know I haven't seen anything on camera, but it gets me out of the house, and it just gives me time to just sit in the stand and be silent and try to, like, disconnect for a minute. And then on the other end of it, I've been hunting a lot with my grandpa this year, and I enjoy those times. We don't sit together, obviously, but it's just the fact that, like, we're going out to do it together. Same with my dad. I love it, and that's what makes it fun for me. Like, even if we don't harvest anything, it's still just fun.
Nice little getaway.
Yeah.
When you got started bow hunting, were you sitting by yourself right away or were you teaming up with your dad?
I was sitting by myself.
Were you?
Probably shouldn't have been, but I was. Yeah.
At what point did you know you were kind of hooked? Was it when you were shooting your bow? Was there a hunt that just really got you hooked on the sport?
It was obviously the shooting when I realized, like, oh, I can actually connect with the deer because my dad had, like, the 3D deer in the background. It was like, "You need to practice before we go." He didn't let me just go out with a bow and not ever shoot it. So he made me practice, and he said, like, "Once you're getting kill shots, like, consistently, I'll let you come out with me." He wasn't like, "You're just gonna come out with a bow and not know what you're doing." That is, like, the biggest thing. I don't wanna wound an animal, and there's been a lot of things where I will, like, see deer and I will refuse to take the shot. I try to be as ethical as possible when it comes to hunting, even with being new, but the practicing was definitely when I realized I could connect with the deer, I was like, "Okay, this is kind of fun." And then after I shot my first deer, then I was like, "Oh, this is really fun. Like, this is so cool." And that's when I got into it, and then that's when I started trying to look into other animals like turkey, which I still have not been successful with, so hopefully this is the year.
It's tough.
It is so tough, especially with a bow.
So you're hooked for life now, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I do enjoy it. I wish my brothers would do it 'cause I would love to do that with them, but no interest right now.
I ruined my younger brother from hunting, so don't do that.
Why?
I'm 37, he's probably 30. I think when I was in college, I was trying to push him to come out with me a little too much. So he's probably about the age of your brothers are now. And I think I just burned him out, kinda left a sour taste in his mouth. Now he
Right.
just can't get into it.
Yeah. My oldest brother loves guns, so my stepdad's a Marine, so he's very acclimated with, like, rifles and all of that. He loves shooting, but he's like, "I do not wanna sit in a stand and freeze. That is not fun." Like, "Well, if you harvested an animal, you might think differently," but no interest. I wish. I think my younger brothers will do it eventually because they live out in the woods and they're constantly going through the woods, finding sheds. And when my dad harvests an animal, they go with, they do the blood tracking. They love all of that. I just think sitting there at a young age can be boring. And I think that's why I had no interest in it when I was younger too. Like sitting there for hours, don't move, don't talk, it's cold. It's not a really good selling point.
It can be a challenge. Hopefully, you have some good camouflage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that'll change, especially once they start getting more stress in their life and need to kinda get
Mhm.
away from reality sometimes.
Right.
That could change pretty quick.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed they end up picking up a bow.
There you go. So when you shoot a deer, have you ever let me back up. So you go out by yourself sometimes. Maybe your dad or grandpa isn't in the timber with you. Have you ever shot a deer and then been like, "Shit, how am I supposed to get this thing out of here now?"
Actually, I have not had that. I've always been fortunate enough to be able to call someone and be like, "Hey, I shot one. Can you come help?" So, that's been very helpful. Honestly, I feel like if I was by myself, I think I could do it. I would do it, obviously, but I'd probably struggle. But I've been fortunate enough to have people helping me or pulling a deer out or gutting it, but I think I could do it. I just haven't had to.
You can do it. What about setting up tree stands? Are you doing that yourself or do you have somebody to help you out there?
I do it with people and I try to get stands put up before I'm hunting. I like to go out there and have it all be ready rather than doing it right before your hunt or like in the dark. I try to go where I know that stuff is set up, that we, like, set up prior, and with hunting in Oklahoma, that's a lot of blind hunting rather than, like, stands based off of where I was hunting. Minnesota, I do hunt blinds, but there's a couple ladder stands that we have put up, and we just keep them in that same spot, and then public land, you will just do, like, quick put up, but we would still do it, like, the night before, a day before hunting, even on public, and just pray that no one's there in the morning.
So you don't do the mobile hunting or any of that stuff? Saddle hunting?
No, I wanna get into that so bad. I was telling my boyfriend, I said, "I wanna get a saddle," and he was like, "No, you don't." I was like, "I do," especially being a girl, I think it would make it a lot easier just to get around and easy for me to do. Girls are different than guys. There's things that it's more difficult to do than it is for a girl or vice versa, and so I think having that stuff set up either prior or doing a saddle would be very beneficial as hunting as a female.
I wanna get into saddle hunting too. I'm sure there's a lot of challenges with it.
I heard that it can be difficult and you have to put like a lot of trust in it because you're obviously just like sitting there. I think it's a cool invention. I definitely want to try it out.
Is there any part of hunting that you wanna get into other than saddle hunting that maybe you just haven't taken the time to learn or you wanna learn? So, I mean, like, saddle hunting would be kind of an example or food plots.
Saddle hunting for sure. Food plots, my dad bought that property. The house that he just bought has that land, and he specifically bought that house because of the land, but there has not been deer on there. They do have bear there. So he didn't do a food plot this year, but I think we're gonna look into doing it next year. And obviously we have to research it because neither of us have ever done it. Like I said, we're still pretty new. Like my friends that hunt have been hunting, grown up hunting, their parents, their grandparents. So, me and my dad, I feel like we're learning as we go type of thing, and obviously, I look to, like, friends and other family for support, but I think a food plot would be cool. We talked about doing that this year and then just never got around to it, so next year, we'll probably do it because he hasn't had, like, anything on camera. So, food plotting, yes. Saddle hunting, yes. And then I would love to do like a big game, like go for like elk or something, but I want to be 100%. So I want to be really confident when it comes to like my shot and I want to be able to like shoot further, things like that. I consider myself pretty new still.
Well, you are, but sounds like you've picked up quite a bit. The big game hunting would be a blast. I'm gonna start doing that one of these years, just out there crawling on your belly trying to sneak up on an elk. I think that'd be pretty badass.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in your short time hunting?
Oh my gosh. Patience, give yourself grace. That is like the biggest thing. Last year, when I contacted on that deer, I was like, I am never hunting again. And I meant it. Like the next morning, I was just so angry with myself. And I ended up going and sitting with my boyfriend because I was like, just not happy with myself with the situation that happened. But I think with bow hunting itself, like you have to give yourself grace because there's so much room for error when it comes to archery hunting. You could be a straight killer when it comes to hunting, and something so easy could happen and just mess everything up. And it's like you're too high, you're too low, the wind, there's just so much that can make archery hunting difficult. And I think that's why a lot of people don't do it and more people do rifle hunt because it is more of a challenge. And if you're looking to just go get meat and just go kill, like rifle hunting or shotgun is a lot easier. And with archery hunting, it's just you have to give yourself grace.
Why are you so hard on yourself?
Oh, I was so hard on myself. One, because I felt terrible for wounding an animal. And they told me they were like, "He's gonna be fine. Like, this is part of archery hunting." And like I said, my arrow was in him like that much. They're like, "He's gonna go rub on a branch and it's gonna come out. Like, you're fine." But I was so hard on myself. I felt terrible for not killing him and having a bad shot. You have to give yourself grace. But there's been many times where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Is this for me? Should I still bow hunt?"
Do you still think like that occasionally?
If I, like, miss or something, oh, it'll go through my mind. I'm like, "What am I doing? Destiny, what are you doing out here?" But then I have, like, friends that have been hunting for a long time that will miss, or they'll shoot a deer, they think it's a good shot, and they don't find them. Unfortunately. It's all part of archery hunting. It helps me because they're like, "You're doing a really hard sport, and it's not easy." They're just like, "You just have to give yourself grace." I just watched the Bomar, he shot and missed, like, a giant, and it went or what was it, a monkey? I think he just posted it, and I saw it, and I was like, "He misses too?" I was like, "Okay." So people miss with archery, and I'm really hard on myself, and I try to be, like, as best as I can be, and with archery hunting, I feel like you have to give yourself grace.
I don't think you realize how new you are to archery hunting.
I know I'm new, like, I've never hunted, and then all of a sudden I just wanna hunt, and I wanna expand, and, like, I would love to duck hunt, and I'm trying to do turkey hunting, and I would love to black bear hunt, all these things, but I'm like, I wanna do all these things, but I'm like, I'm still so new.
If I had every deer I had an opportunity at, I think I got 5 or 6 on the wall now. I wouldn't have any more room in my house, I can tell you that right now.
Right? I feel like that's how it goes. That's what people say. Like my friends that have been archery hunting, they're like, Destiny, you're going to lose them. You're going to miss giants. You're going to hit a giant. You're going to lose them. And I'm just like, I don't want to do any of that. You know, I just feel terrible. And I try to be super ethical when it comes to hunting. Like I said earlier, like I won't take a shot unless there is nothing in the way and then everything is on me, which archery hunting, it is kind of on you. Like, yes, there's room for error, but you're the one pulling the arrow back and releasing it. And it's taking an animal's life, so it's important.
100%. What's the biggest lesson you've learned since you started hunting?
The biggest lesson, take my time.
Tell me more.
I get a little, like, trigger happy, I would say, and I worked on it, on how I, like, put my finger on my release, all of that, but I feel like I'm quick to just, like even with practicing, like, I have to, like, calm down, just take your time, and I don't shake when it comes to deer.
Yet.
My first year I did, and he's just a tiny little buck, and he was my first year I ever shot. I was shaking and, like, my teeth were chattering, but I've gotten that part under control so far.
Until you see a giant.
Yeah, so far, but that's good because I shot a deer this year and I wasn't shaky and that was all good, but I am so quick to just, like, snap my finger and hit my release, and that was, like, the biggest thing when I was practicing is, like, being told, like, "No, you have to, like, slowly pull it, like, slowly hit the release because 'cause I'm just so quick to, like, draw back and, like, click and just let it go, and so that's the biggest lesson, just taking my time, breathing, making sure everything's in, like, a line when it's, like, ready, but it's so hard, especially with archery hunting. Deer move quick, and there could be just a small window, so the sport in itself is just hard. Like, I envy people that do it.
It's really hard to kick that habit. You can kick it all you want, target shooting, but when it comes to crunch time, you can't practice for that. I still punch the trigger a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've been better. Like, this deer I shot this year, I took a lot of my mistakes last year, and it helped me a lot this year when it came to shooting, but, yeah, I don't know. I could see a giant and then it happens again. It's just something I gotta try to figure out.
Have you ever seen anybody shoot a thumb release?
Mm-mm.
They help
Nope.
quite a bit.
Really? I went and got a new release, so it's not like a full click. It's just like slightly sits on the string. And I feel like that's helped. It's like a mental thing more so. It's something I have to figure out myself.
If you still struggle with the target panic, look at a thumb release. I hated it at first. I can never go back now.
Oh, really? Huh, I'll give it a try. Interesting. I didn't even know those were a thing, to be honest.
Yeah, so it just like sits in your palm, then you come up like this, and I just move my pinky and it rotates it and sets it off.
Interesting. Okay.
If you try one, you'll struggle at first.
Yeah. I struggled with the new release that I got too. I was like, this is so different from what I was using before. But when I got my Matthews, I got this new release. And so I like it now. But at first I was like, this thing sucks. And it's like a nice release and a lot of people use them. And I was like, I don't like this thing, but I'm used to it now.
You can spend a lot of money, can't you?
Yeah. That release, I was like, this is so dumb. It's
How
just
much
so
was
dumb.
it?
It was almost $200.
Was it really?
Yes. I think it was like $180. And I was like, for a release?
I think mine was like 350.
What?
Yeah, it's bad.
See, okay, this is the difference. This is where my newness is coming in because I that is crazy. I would never spend that, I feel like, but
Yet?
I thought 180 is expensive. You're like, "Mine was like 300." I'm like,
How much did you spend on your accessories?
"For my bow?"
Like your sight, quiver?
I honestly don't know. I had them put everything on it, and I didn't do top of the line, I didn't do bottom of the line. I said just put on there, like, middle of the line stuff, and my bow was, like, with everything on it, I think, like, 3.
It's ridiculous.
Like I said, I literally called my dad. I got out of the store, I had my bow, and I called my dad, I was like, "Dad, can I return it?" He's like, "No, it's an investment, you're gonna love it, you're gonna have it forever." I'm like, "Yeah, until the next one comes out."
There you go. Have you shot a deer with it yet?
Yeah, I've shot 2. That's what I was using last year that I ended up, like, getting it out of tune, and I missed that big deer, which was awful. We ended up hiring, like, a drone company, they came out, we found my deer, living his best life, arrows just hanging out of him.
It is still hanging out of him?
Oh, yeah, it was only in him, like, this much, like, it just was right under his skin. I was using a beast, and it just opened and just got stuck under his skin, it wasn't even penetrated, so awful.
That's brutal.
It was so bad. I was heartbroken.
There's probably nothing you can do about it, though.
I did hunt that next couple days, but I didn't end up shooting anything, and then when I came home, I went to archery country, and they were like, "Yeah, your bow is out of tune." And I was like, "I haven't been doing anything but practicing." They told me with how the end of the spectrum I'm on for that bow, because 'cause I'm a girl shooting a guy's bow, made it out of tune. I don't know which part of it, I don't know if it's, like, the cam on it, but it throws it out of tune, and it ended up sending my arrow, and it would go like this and then just deflect. Had no power behind it. It was so sad.
Bet you won't make that mistake again.
No.
So how often do you have to have your bow tuned?
Depends on how much I'm practicing. Like, this year, I've been fine, but last year, I was in Oklahoma a lot more, and I was practicing a lot, a lot. But I feel like I've just been more careful with my bow too, in the sense of, like, not banging it around as much, and just being a little bit more cautious of, like, what can happen to it because of what happened last year. I won't go out of town unless my bow is, like, good, especially if I'm out of state and there's no archery country there. I wanna make sure my bow is good to go. It sucked last year. I was sitting and it was just not good.
Especially when it's something that you can control, but you just weren't to a place where you're educated enough about it yet. That's super frustrating.
Yeah, and well, my boyfriend, he's very educated, he's very smart when it comes to hunting, and he was like, "You're doing something wrong," like, when I was shooting, like, just practicing, he's like, "You're not doing something right, your arrow is flinging everywhere, like, you're doing something wrong." I'm like, "I promise, like, I'm putting the pin here, and I'm looking, like, shooting straight," and then I shot that deer, and it barely penetrated him, we came home, brought my bow in, and they were like, "Yeah, your bow is out of tune, like, something is out of whack with it," and I was like, "See, it wasn't me." That really helped with my guilt. Like, when I was telling you I shot that deer and I was ready to give up, I was so sad, so sad.
Why do you feel so much guilt? Is it because you wounded an animal or just you felt like you lost? Tell me more about that.
I think a lot of it has to do with, like, wounding an animal, to be honest. Like, I don't need to shoot a deer that bad if it's gonna mean that I'm gonna wound it and I'm gonna lose it. And also some of it is, like, beating myself up because I know I can have a good shot, but it's things like taking your time and not releasing fast, breathing before I'm shooting. It's just, like, little things, and I get so excited. I'm not shaking, like, the adrenaline shakes, but I'm just so excited, like, "Okay, there's this deer, like, I'm gonna shoot him now." And I think just anything about taking a life, like, it's kinda scary. It's exciting in the sense, like, I'm gonna harvest this awesome animal, but also it's, like, scary.
Do you beat yourself up a lot in life?
Yeah, but I keep a lot of things to, like, myself, I would say. I try to handle it on my own.
I don't understand why you're so hard on yourself. You're doing some pretty awesome things.
Yeah, it's just life. Life is fun.
Everybody says life is easy, right?
Right.
Life's tough.
It is. Preaching to the choir.
Preaching to the choir. So, in your short time hunting, you're beating yourself up a lot in this podcast episode. So, is there any moments that have happened to you that you're extremely proud of that you've accomplished in just 4 or 5 years hunting? What makes you the most proudest of what you've accomplished hunting?
I honestly feel like I was most proud truly, when I first started hunting and I shot my first deer, that was, like, the most proud I've been because it was like, "Oh my gosh," like, I wanted to do it, I did it, I put my mind to it, and I got it done. And now looking at it, I think I compare myself a lot to hunters that are, like, have been doing it for a long time. And that's really difficult because it's not like I'm young, just learning like most hunters do. They learn, they start when they're young. I'm like 27 years old wanting to pick up this sport. So I feel like I have to be to a certain point. But again, I'm like, well, I'm new at hunting. So I have a lot to learn. My favorite thing about it is being able to do it, like, on my own. I'm not gonna lie, when I sit in a blind, especially when I'm in Oklahoma, I'm like, "There are rattlesnakes out here," and that stuff terrifies me. Like, I'm an outdoorsy girl, but I am not trying to get bit by a snake, and, like, the spiders there are massive, and just looking at, like, some of my friends and family, they're like, "It's so cool that you go and do that," and I think that's honestly, like, the proudest thing about it in itself, like, archery hunting or just hunting in general is that, like, I wanted to do it, and no one's gonna stop me, and I'm gonna go do it either way, even if it scares me and I'm, like, terrified walking out to my stand.
Nobody gets scared walking out to their stand in the dark.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I
just kidding.
know.
Everybody does.
That's something to be proud of in itself, is just, like, going to do it, especially being a girl hunter. Just going out and doing it. Even if I'm not connecting with a deer or an animal, it's like, it's still cool that I'm out here doing it.
Do you find the sport to be pretty emotional, like the highs and lows and all that good stuff?
For sure. I don't know if it's the same for, like, gun hunting, like rifle hunting and stuff. I don't know if it's the same feeling, but with archery hunting, there's so many highs, so many lows, and I'm still new at it. Like, I'm not fully even experienced with it, and I've experienced a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but I think that's just a part of the sport, which makes it the most fun, which is why I wanna do archery hunting and not sit in a stand and shoot a gun.
The ones that got away will haunt you the rest of your life, I can tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah. That one last year, he got me.
I can still think of misses. So, what, I'm 37, probably started when I was 14 or 15. I can still think of the ones that got away 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I hear. People tell me that. That's when they're like, "Destiny, it's okay. Just give yourself grace." I'm like, "Okay."
Wouldn't say it's okay. You're
I mean, I know, but th're like, "It's gonna happen. It's a part of the sport. It's just a part of archery hunting." So, it's harder, and if it was easy, everyone would do it, and that's why not a lot of people do it.
And if you didn't have those low spots in life or hunting, you wouldn't appreciate the highs as much either.
Oh, for sure. You're not gonna grow or learn. So, everything that has happened, unfortunately, that was awful last year and made me wanna quit, I'm learning from it. So, like, what I messed up in last year, this year was different, and I tried to work better at it. So, just growing. You grow from the lows.
Well, you're kind of in a unique situation, especially when you and your dad both picked up bow hunting in a relatively close time frame.
Yeah.
So you're kind of learning a lot of this stuff on your own.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and there's stuff that now I'm teaching my dad that he's like, "What?" Because I was fortunate enough with the guy I was with, like I said, he's been hunting for years. He's big game hunts. He's got a lot of knowledge and he taught me a lot, like so much. And so I was able to kind of push that onto my dad. My grandpa still won't listen to me. He is like, ride or die. I'm like, "Grandpa, put some scent spray on." No, I'm not doing that. Like, wears his clothes that he's got in his house with his dogs, and I'm like, "Grandpa, what are you doing?" It's so crazy, and he's like, "I've been doing this a lot of years." I'm like, "I know, but Grandpa, things have changed." So, he's still set in his ways, but my dad appreciates the things that I tell him and the things that I learn. It's fun. I mean, learning new things, like, especially with the sport, it's a lot of fun, and I wanna get better at it, truly I do. And I think, like I said, once I get better at it, I think I'd be more open to being, like, more active on social media with it and trying to do something with it in a sense, but I have so much to learn, which maybe that's a good thing to show that side of it, to be like, it's not you just get out here and shoot your arrow and kill an animal and it's easy. Like, it's been hard. Especially, like you said, my family, I grew up around hunting, but I didn't do it. So I'm new to it.
I think that's what's missing though. People that are on social media are experts. Nobody's really showing the process of learning. So if you look on my social media, the last gal that was posted in clips, so she's always hunted, but she recently got into bow hunting and she's never shot a buck with her bow. And she's trying to explain that journey. I think everybody just tries to portray this image that they're an expert hunter. And I think that scares a lot of people away, especially females.
Mhm.
I do think that's missing.
I'd agree with that, honestly, because even all the girls that I follow, they're just shooting giants, and I'm like, "Huh, congrats. That's so sick."
You will be someday.
Yeah, like you said, like, there's no process of it. It's like they grew up hunting, I know that, and, they've been doing it for a long time, and so that's why, like, I'm not shooting giant deer, but I'm shooting bigger deer for me. Like, every year I'm going up on shooting a deer, so that's exciting. Like, obviously, I would love to shoot a giant deer, but I'm new in it still, and I'm okay, like, working my way up. I feel like, yeah, with social media, that really isn't shown because even with the women I follow, they are pros.
Yeah, I think you underappreciate what you've accomplished. You might not have shot a booner yet, but you've only been hunting for 4 years. You're going out doing things on your own. You've harvested animals without somebody like on your side teaching you. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe I need to look at it from that perspective.
Okay, so think about it this way. Your younger brother,
Mm.
one of the three, if they went out and started bow hunting on their own without you teaching them what you've learned, and they were starting to harvest deer 2 years in with a bow, how impressed would you be?
Yeah, it'd be crazy. It would be super impressive, like, being able to do it with no help. Yeah.
Then why don't you think about yourself like that?
I don't know. I don't know. I am hard on myself because it makes you wanna grow and be better, which I definitely wanna do when it comes to hunting, so every year I'm trying to learn something new and take what I learned, and if even with the fails, like last year, I brought it into this year and try to do better, and same with this year, I'll do it next year. Like, this year, I was hunting and I got excited, thought it was the deer I was after, it wasn't the deer I was after, and I ended up shooting them, and I got to him, and I was like, "This is not the deer I was supposed to shoot."
Everybody's been there.
Oh, yeah. Just learning every year, and it makes you grow.
You can be hard on yourself, but just don't let it take away from what you've accomplished.
Thank you. I'm gonna take that and write it on a sticky note and slap it on my mirror.
No, you won't. You mentioned you're teaching your dad some new things. What are some of the things you've taught him?
Just with, like, things that I've learned when it comes to, like, with scents and stuff and, like, camo, like I said, I've learned a lot from my past relationship. With that being said, he taught me a lot of things, like, you don't even necessarily need camo. Things when it comes to what you're spraying on yourself, what you're wearing, movement in the sense of, like, how you move, blind sitting rather than ladder stands, and 'cause my dad is like, "I don't wanna blind hunt, that sounds awful," things like that. Well, in Oklahoma, that's all I hunt out of is a blind, majority of the time. I have sat ladder stands, but I think my dad thinks it's, like, cut and dry, it has to be this way, and I'm like, "There's actually so much to learn that's so different." My dad has his ways, my grandpa really has his ways, and those aren't changing, but I think my dad wants to learn just as much as me, and I've realized too that hunting is a lot more than I expected. Like, I thought it was just you grow up hunting, you go not even bow hunting, but you go 2 weeks out of the year, you sit in the stand, you freeze, you shoot a deer if you're lucky, and there's so much more to it, and I've never even knew what that world looked like until my, boyfriend, he is the one that, like, showed me with, like, elk hunting and all these things and different types of calls and grunts and how deer work when it comes to pressure and the moon and all these different things, and I'm just, like, mind blown. Same with, like, outfitters. 2 years ago, I had no idea what that even was. I didn't know people paid to go hunt. I had no idea. I was like, "This is real life, people do this, people spend this money on going and shooting these deer." It's crazy to me. For me, I'm like, you just go sit in the woods in your hometown and you're lucky if you see a deer and you shoot it. But there's just so much more to it. And a lot of people still do that. That's how my grandpa is. He's like, I'll shoot a deer every year. I'm not changing anything. But then I just like been exposed to this other side of hunting and it's new for me. And then I explain it to my dad. I guess we're just learning together.
There is a lot that goes into it, but I think people overthink it a little bit too much. I think your grandpa's kind of right on the scent control and the camo. You'll never fool a deer's nose 100%, but you also don't want to go out, spray yourself down with perfume at work and then go straight out, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. Minnesota, it's different because you can't bait. And if you don't have cameras up and you're not seeing sign of deer like scrapes and stuff, you're going out blindly. So I want to take every step I can to cover my scent, hide myself, this and that. But Oklahoma, it's different. You get to sit over food, which I know a lot of states are like that, which is honestly super nice. But Minnesota, they make it a little bit more difficult. So I try to take every aspect I can with, like, scent killer, showering, things like that.
You mean you take showers?
Yeah, I do.
Have you heard of nose jammer?
Yep, I use that actually. Mhm.
So I've been hunting for 20 years. That is by far the most underlooked scent tool you could ever use. I swear by it. I don't think the scent spray, when you think about it, it's basically the deer are going to know you're there.
Mhm.
It's whether they think you're 50 yards away or 300 yards away. The nose jammer, 100%, has fooled way more noses than any scent spray.
That's funny. That's the stuff that my dad I don't even know if he just, like, started using it, was like, "Oh, this is cool," or if somebody told him to use it, but when I first started hunting, he's like, We gotta use this stuff. You have to get this stuff." And then now I use it. Actually, that's the only thing that I use, and then I use the Evertree. Is that what it's called?
Ever calm or something?
Yeah, yeah, I use that, and that's about it. And just scent spray, but I have used nose jammer.
So I don't want to like educate you here, but you'll notice like on the nose jammer, if the wind is like 10, 12 mile an hour or less, flawless. You start getting into like the 20 mile an hour wind, you'll start thinking it's not going to work.
Mhm.
But if it's like a lower mile per hour wind, it's going to work fantastic.
Good to know. I feel like I just use it every time no matter what.
No, you should. You should.
Okay, good to know.
I want to focus on like women topics now, just because I've done 35 interviews and I've only had, you're probably the fourth woman. But when you got started, how long did it take you to really feel like you belonged in the hunting community? Did you feel out of place at first?
To be completely honest, when I first started hunting, I felt more at place than I do now. I question it now more than I did then. I think it's because of what I've been exposed to. I'm exposed to a lot more hunters that are like more experienced than I was when I first started. So when I first started, I was like, this is just fun. It's something to do with my dad and it's something I wanted to try. There wasn't like much behind it in the sense of things on my shoulders, but now I feel like there's more on my shoulder, like, I have to do good. There's more to prove, I feel like, now than when I was first starting out. I felt like I already proved everything. I just did it, and I got a bow, I wanted to do it, and I succeeded. But now I'm like, I have to do better, I have to be better, and that's just part of, like, what's made hunting difficult. I feel like even with society too now, it's different now than it was 4 years ago, which is crazy, but it is. And so I just feel like there's a lot more pressure, especially when it comes to women hunting. And so if you are going to be a woman hunting, like you want to be good. Like you want to prove your spot on the bench, honestly. And I feel like when I first started, it was more innocent. And now I'm like, I want to be better and do better. And so it's harder now, I feel like, than when I first started.
But why? You said, like, you have something to prove, and it's kind of taken away the I won't say taken away the enjoyment of hunting. I know what you mean because I'm the same way, and I think the whole hunting community is the same way, but don't you think that's kind of backwards? Like, at some point, it gets so hunting isn't near as fun anymore.
Oh, 100%. And I'm not even talking on like competitive aspect. I'm just talking about like being successful and getting better at it. And even with like what I was telling you, like my learning process with it, like I'm new at it, like I'm learning. And so I feel like coming out and being like, I'm learning rather than I'm just out here being a boss killer, like, it's harder, but it is backwards. The way that I'm saying it is backwards, but I feel like when I was younger doing it, a couple years back, it was just less stress than it is now. I feel like I have more to prove, not only to, like, people, but myself because I've been doing it for years now, so I only wanna be better. You only get better with, like, contacting on animals and harvesting and practicing. It's like a time. You can't just wake up tomorrow and be a straight harvester, you know?
Don't get me wrong, my thought process is the exact same as yours, but I think about when I was hunting as a kid, no trail cameras, didn't worry about the wind, there wasn't social media. I enjoyed it way more than I do now.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of how I feel about it too. Because even when I am hunting, like if I post a picture that I'm going out hunting or I'm going to the stand, it's just something to prove because of it being social media, you know? And that's why I haven't pursued social media in that sense because I feel like people think I do it just to say I did it, but it's not that. I enjoy doing it and I'm new at it. So I'm not on a level of some of these girls that are like, successful every time they hunt. Like, there's a lot of times I go sit and I don't see anything, and I just sit there by myself, and people expect if I post a story of me sitting in the stand, they expect that I shoot something. It's not like that. I think it's a lot more difficult now. Like, yes, easier with all the things that we can do and use for hunting, but it's a lot more difficult now when it comes to, like, social media aspect of it. And I think there's a lot of judgment on it, especially for women, but it's even harder being a new hunter, and I don't have all the education or, like, resources as people that have been hunting for years on end.
Don't lose the spark. It's easy to do when you get caught up in the community and comparing yourself to everybody else.
Yeah. No, I still enjoy doing it. I love doing it. I just realized this year that I love doing it a lot more with, like, my dad and my grandpa in the sense of, I'm okay if I don't see a deer. Like, I used to get so angry. I'm like, "This is just so boring." But now, like I said, I will leave even if I have only an hour to sit, and I'll still go sit, just get outside and make my grandpa go out with me. And like I said, we don't sit together, but it's just the process of, like, going, getting our camel on, and walking out to the stands, and good luck, and we go our separate ways.
The camaraderie.
Yeah.
Do you all run trail cameras?
My grandpa doesn't, my dad does, and then when we had the public land, like I said, I think we put a couple cameras up, and then we end up taking them down because people will take it. Your cameras, your stands.
Your grandpa is the epitome of what hunting should be.
Oh, he is so funny. He's like, "I've been doing this my whole life, and I don't need any of that spray." And I'm like, "Grandpa, let's put trail cameras up." "No, we don't need that. Like, I know I'm gonna see deer." I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't know what's out here." He's like, "Oh, I know there's deer out here." Like, I know there's deer out here too.
I wish I thought like that. I don't, unfortunately, but I guarantee you he enjoys hunting way more than any of these people that are using trail cameras. Like, he actually does it just because he wants to be out there.
Oh, he loves it. Loves it. I mean, he's so funny. I don't hear from my grandpa all year long. And then it's hunting season and he's calling me every day. So guess what I saw today? And I'm like, that's awesome, Grandpa. I'm like, I wish I didn't have to work. I'd be out there too because he's retired. And he's like, I hate hunting during the weekends. I don't hunt Friday to Monday. And he's like, I just sit in the stand Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. And he just sits up there. He's like, I just like to get out there. And his newest thing that he told me and my jaw just dropped because I was like, is this real? Last week I went hunting with him. He's like, I'm gonna go out at 8 a.m. I'm like, the sun's up already. Like you missed like sunrise, all of that. He's like, oh, they're not gonna come until 10. And I'm like, like, to me, I wanna be in the stand before sunrise, and I wanna stay after, like, sundown, you know? It won't even be sundown yet, and he's like, "I'm done." Like, he's walked to my stand, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "We're done. It's done." I'm like, "Grandpa, we still have, like, 25, 30 minutes of shooting." He's like, "Nah, we would have seen him by now." I'm like,
He's got it figured out.
he does, and it's so funny, and it's so fun seeing, like, that side of him. Me and my grandpa weren't, like, super close or anything, like, we get along, everything. Love him, respect him, but with hunting, it's brought us so close, and he cracks me up. He is so funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if you sleep in, just go out. It's not that big of a deal if you're not out there before sunrise. I don't do it on purpose, but if I do sleep in, I'm still going out.
Really? See, I'm like, if I'm not up and in the stand before it's like, I wanna be out there when it's still dark out, but that's just how that's what I've been taught, you know? Like, I'm learning as I go, so I'm taking the things I learn, but my grandpa's like, "No, that's all wrong."
That should be the goal, but especially during the rut, if you wake up and the sun's coming up, you're like, I'm gonna skip this hunt because it's too late.
Right.
That's kind of the wrong way to think about it. You should still go out.
Yeah. Well, I feel like rut's different though, because deer are active all throughout the day during rut, but
You know,
every other time, I'm like, you're gonna catch them passing, you know, on their way back.
yeah, your grandpa truly enjoys it, doesn't he?
Oh, no, he does, and he'll call me at the end of the day, and I'll be just getting home from work. He's like, "Well, I sat in the stand today and saw some deer." And he already shot a buck this year, so he got a doe tag too, and he's like, "I'm probably not gonna shoot a doe, I just like to go sit out there." Like, that's literally what he does. He just goes out there and he loves to sit out there. I'm like, "Well, if I didn't have to work and pay bills, I'd go sit with you too, grandpa."
So has hunting brought you two closer together?
Oh, so much, so much. He texted me the other day and me and him, we go to church, but we go to separate churches. And he texted me and it was like, I don't remember what the text said exactly, but it was like, I just want to let you know, like, I really enjoyed hunting with you last night. Like, I love you or something like that. That is not how my grandpa is. When I got that text, I was like, what is this? And then my mom told me that she goes, "Oh, grandpa had a church service that talked about, like, just expressing, like, your gratitude," and something along those lines. I was like, "Okay, this all makes sense." But me and him are a lot closer. We talk every week, if not every other day. And, like, during rut, he was calling me every day. And it would be so funny. It would be him and my dad, and they would fight over who I was hunting with. And it was so cute. They would both be like, I would be on the phone with my dad. Like, I didn't think my dad not enjoyed me hunting with him, but I didn't think it meant as much to him as it actually does, and I didn't realize it until this year, because when a rut was happening, it was, like, peak week, like, it was just about to be here, and my dad called me, and I was on the phone with him for, like, an hour, and he's like, "So are you gonna come out here? Are you gonna come hunt with me? Like, let's go check out this spot, whatever." And I was like, "Well, I don't know, I might be going out of town to go hunt." Didn't have my plan set yet, and he's like, "Well, you should just come out here." And I was like, "Why? Like, why are you pushing so hard for me to come out here?" He's like, "Well, because then you can come with me." And I was like, "Dad, we're not sitting together." And he's like, "I know, but it's still fun to like have you come out." And I was like, "Oh, so you actually enjoy this as much as I do, like just hunting together." And then the second I hang up the phone, I'm getting a call from my grandpa and he's like, "Are you coming out here to hunt, Brett? Are you gonna come out tomorrow?" And this has happened a lot lately. Like, I'll hang up the phone with one of them, the other one's calling, like, "Are you coming out here to hunt this weekend?" It's been so fun. Like, this hunting season has been the best yet. I haven't been successful in Minnesota, but just with, like, hanging out with my dad, hanging out with my grandpa, it's been so fun, and that's what it's all about, honestly, even if you're not shooting a deer, it's just the memories you're making doing it.
Were either one of them hesitant, especially your grandpa being the older generation, about a female hunter, or was he all for it right away?
He is tough on me. Like, he is so tough on me. He was super excited that I was gonna do it, but at first he was like, "You don't even know how to do that, and you need to take your hunter safety and this and that." And he just was like kinda hitting it down a little bit when I told him I was gonna do it. And then Minnesota, you don't have to have your hunter safety to get a archery license. I ended up doing it anyways, so I have both, but Minnesota, you don't have to have that to shoot a bow. So he was like, "You don't even know what you're doing. blah, blah, blah. So he was hesitant, pushed back a little bit on it. And now he's so hard on me. Every deer I shoot, no joke. Saw the picture, looks a little low or looks a little high. Are you sure that's a kill shot? I'm like, well, he's dead, grandpa. Like, yeah, so hard on me. And he's super ethical too. Like, I've told him opportunities that I had where I was going to shoot. And he's like, well, that just wouldn't be ethical. And I'm like, no, grandpa, it wouldn't. That's why I didn't do it. But he's just very by the book and super like strict on ethics. And when I shoot a deer, it's, well, good job, but it is a little low. And I'm like, gosh, grandpa, the job is done, okay? But he doesn't have anyone to hunt with him, so he enjoys it just as much as I do. So I think he's happy that I am hunting. So when he passes, he was gonna give the guns, all of his like hunting guns, to my brother, who's 16. He just had the conversation with me like a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Well, he doesn't hunt. He has no interest in hunting. Like, I'm gonna give that stuff to you." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, give it to me, Grandpa."
That's so awesome that you can kind of, I wouldn't say rekindle, but use hunting as something to get closer with your grandpa. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It is so fun.
So to expand on that, he's hard on you. I don't know if it's because grandchild or woman, but what are some of the biggest challenges of being a woman in the sport?
I think the judgment in the sense like it's a man's sport.
It was a man's sport.
Exactly. When I was growing up, I was like, the guys go and do that. The girls don't go do that. And I think now it's just like the dynamics have changed and women are getting into it. So I think things are changing like in a good sense, but I also think that there's a lot of judgment on it, especially for, like I said, I think like girls that do kind of both in a sense. Like I like to be girly, but I like to go hunt. And I think that's becoming more common too. And I think that's where more of the backlash is coming when it comes to women hunting is the girls that are like can be girly girls, but also want to go hunt and enjoy it. Otherwise, other than that, I feel like the backlash isn't too bad when it comes to it. I feel like people that are just like confident in themselves and I haven't had any like bad backlash. It's more so people just being like proud and like that's awesome, like good for you, that's so cool. I haven't had people be mean to me about it. Like I said, if I probably started with social media and tried to do something with it in a sense, I would probably get some backlash from people. But I definitely think that the sport has expanded. I will say when I was younger, I would 100% agree with it being a man's sport just because that's how I'm raised, like girls and guys things, and things obviously have changed. And I agree with it now. I think that women can do things guys do. And there's obviously things like women can't pull back as much as a guy, but I'm sure there's women that can. But there's challenges in between it. But I don't think that it should be women's or man's sport. I think both can do it.
Do you think there's anything revolving around hunting that women can't do?
I don't think so. Truthfully, I don't. I think that as long as you can pull enough back to shoot the animals that you're going after and like successfully harvest them, I think you can do it. I think that's the only thing that would be a concern. And that's for like big game or like African safari hunts. Like if you're going to go after like a hippo or something, you have to be able to.
Hippo.
I mean, I've seen it. People do it. So I'm just like, you have to be able to pull back. But I don't think anything in the sport is girls can't do, honestly.
Do you have any insecurities, and we're getting real here, about being a woman hunter in what was a man's sport?
I feel like I'm so upfront with how I feel on things that it's not necessarily insecurities because I know that I need to grow in the sport. I have so much to learn. Like I want to get my poundage up and I want to like be better and I want to like right now I won't shoot over certain yards and I want to like expand that and I want to get better at that. But I wouldn't say I have really, like, insecurities. Honestly, the only thing is, like, when I go to a stand and I freak out in the blind if I'm, like, hearing something because I get scared sitting in the blind sometimes. I think just part of, like, being a girl, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of girls are like, "Eh, it's fine," but I am still kind of a girly girl on the side. So when I'm sitting in the
Happens to
pitch
men
black
too.
that's what I'm saying. So that's the only thing. And I mean, people laugh at me when I tell them, they're like, Destiny, like nothing's going to get you. I'm like, you guys, I'm just telling you, I don't like not being able to see what is rummaging around by my feet.
So I wouldn't say it's insecurity, but we touched about this a little bit earlier, and then we'll wrap this up. But going out on public by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a challenge women face is just like the safety thing.
Yeah, I think it's more so the safety thing, like, I don't go out like, I'm not strapped when I'm going out. It's something that I definitely wanna do at some point in my hunting career is, like, get my conceal and carry and things like that. I think that would make a big difference on things for me, but I think it can be not safe, and that can be, like, a challenge for women, especially if you are going by yourself, but it's not an insecurity. Like, I would still do it, it's just something you need to be, like, cautious of being a woman. You never know. And, like, when I hunt public land, I pull my hair back, like, if you were to look at me, you wouldn't know I was a girl. Like, I just look like a short dude, you know? Once I'm in the stand, it's fine, but walking to and from, I hide my hair because you just never know, and there are really crappy people out there, and, it's a lot easier to take advantage of a woman than it is a man in that sense, so I would just rather be safe than sorry, I guess, so that's the only challenge, but I wouldn't say it's an insecurity, I think it's just more so trying to be cautious and smart, and now if I had a gun strapped to me, I'd be way less scared, but if I'm going out there with my bow, what am I gonna do if a guy's coming at me? Shoot him with my bow? Like, you never know.
Try to.
Yeah, try to.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to say that's insecurity, but I kind of feel bad for women in a sense because you're out there trying to do something you love. And it's same with anything in life. If you're a runner or any of that stuff, just feeling safe. There's a lot of creeps out there.
Exactly, and that's honestly what it comes down to is there really are a lot of creeps, and, when you're in the middle of the woods and it's dark out, it's just, like, prime time for something to happen, you know, honestly. So you just have to keep your head on a swivel. That's just like one of the things I do. I don't let it be known that I'm like a female. And that's one thing that my grandpa also said too, because he knows I hunt by myself. And he's like, just be cautious and keep your head on a swivel because obviously, if I'm in the stand, I'll feel better. But just walking to and from by yourself, it can be sketchy. And public lands, you don't know who's out there and or what's out there. So it can be scary.
I was going to ask you, does that concern your dad and grandpa that you're out there hunting by yourself?
More so my grandpa. My dad, I don't really think looks at it like that. He's just like, "You're just walking to the stand. It's fine. You're fine." But my grandpa, like ex-military, he's very much like, "Just be careful and keep your head on a swivel." I mean, he used to drop me off at the movies when I was younger, and he'd like show me like kill spots and be like, "You need to be prepared."
Kung Fu.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, grandpa, I'm just going to the movies."
Well, at least you got people looking out for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can handle my own to an extent. I mean, a man's power is a little bit different than a woman's to a certain extent. That can be one thing that can be difficult, but you can still do it. You just gotta keep your head on the swivel.
Yeah, I just want to see you and other women that enjoy doing it being able to go out and not feeling unsafe.
Right. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I've felt fine doing it. It's one thing that can be scary. And I know there's been instances in like Wisconsin where people have been crazy and like there's situations where people will pull guns and shoot you. And that's like the image I have on public land. So public land truly does scare me a little bit, especially being a woman. But people get crazy when it comes to hunting. And I've seen it because I've door knocked. I have definitely door knocked. I use my Onyx and I'll go door knock and see if I can hunt. People are not nice and people are like, get off my property. And the situations that I've heard about on public land in Wisconsin, it scares me because it's like I could just do something and it could set someone off and people get nuts when it comes to hunting and you never know. And then if I'm out there by myself being a girl,
Crazy world, isn't it?
it is crazy. Yep.
Well, cool. I appreciate you sharing that, but I'm not going to let you off the hook yet. Luckily, I gave you a heads up. You're probably the first one I've given a heads up on this, but like to wrap up each episode with a couple of your most embarrassing hunting stories. Try to make it fun, not to bash you or anything. We need to look at the stuff that's happened throughout our hunting journey and just have fun with it.
Right. Okay. Well, I have one from turkey hunting. This was last year, and I had an opportunity. I've gone turkey hunting the last like 4 years, and I've never been successful with turkey hunting. And last year, I had this is before I got my Matthews, so I was still using the bare bow, and I had a turkey probably not even 10 yards out from the blind. Called him in, he came running, stopped at the decoys, just was hanging out, doing his thing, and I used my bare bow, and I went flying over this turkey. Like, my arrow went probably 15 yards above the turkey, went just shot. Turkey ran, came back. This was all on video. So I was being videotaped. And I was like, "Did I get him?" And it's the most embarrassing video of my life. And I was like, "I cannot believe I just did that 10 yards out." And I don't know what I was looking at. I don't know what I was doing. After that hunt, I was told, "It is time to get a new bow." So that's when I went and got the Matthews.
What was embarrassing about it? The miss or your reaction after?
Both. Literally, the video, my arrow went so high, not even close to this bird. This bird is sitting in front of me. If I jumped out of the blind, I could grab him. Literally, so close. I miss him. And then this video, I think I swore. And I was like, "Dude, I shoot him." And this bird like flies in the air and it's all on video and the bird flies in the air. So I thought I shot him, but the arrow just scared him. And then I pull another arrow and I get it set up. I shoot again, miss, birds are gone. I'm like, well, that was my opportunity and those birds are gone. So hopefully this year's better. But I got a new bow after that. And then since I'm new at hunting, I don't know, like, what you're supposed to do, not supposed to do, and I was sitting a deer stand in Oklahoma, and I had the opportunity to shoot this giant or try to shoot this giant, and I didn't know that you're supposed to pull the rifle thing up, like the gun stand for those, like, ladder stands, there's, like, the bar. So when I tried to shoot, so this deer came out and I had no idea because 'cause I'm new and nobody's told me you're supposed to pull that up. I just thought like, okay, like I could rest my bow on top of it. Well, I draw back and my arrow falls out of my bow literally because I hit the rifle stand and it was just a nightmare. Yeah, I didn't know you're supposed to lift that up if you're bow hunting. I thought it was just there for like you to rest your bow on. No, no,
Didn't even get a shot, huh?
nope, nope. Arrow fell out. It was
You
awful.
mentioned that you had a shot at, like, the biggest buck you've ever had an opportunity at. Is that the one?
No, so the one that I shot, I hit him, and that's when my bow was all messed up, and I was so excited he came out, and it was, like, on a dime. They were like, "This was in Oklahoma, you can bait." They were like, "He's coming out." This was, like, pre-rut, and they were like, "He's coming out every single time that feeder comes off," and I was like, "No way." Feeder goes off, this giant just jumps the fence, runs over, sitting there, and he was broadside at me. I had a perfect shot. He was probably 25 yards out, and that I shot him. Terrible shot. Actually, he wasn't broadside, he was quartering away, and again, when I'm practicing, 'cause I'm new, I put my decoy like perfectly broadside, and that's how I'm shooting. So when I'm thinking to shoot this deer, I don't think that you have to like change where you're shooting in a sense if they're quartering away. And so my arrow went further back and it barely penetrated him. And it was the biggest deer I would have ever shot. So hired a drone 'cause there was a blood trail and they thought maybe I could have hit that artery that's running along their back, like below their spine. And we hired a drone company and we found him running the field and my arrow was literally sticking out of him. Like it was only in him that much, just under his skin, just sitting there. And then that's when we knew my bow was out of tune and something was wrong with it. So very unfortunate. I cried. I was so mad. I was so mad.
You'll get them next time.
Yeah. I still got time this year and then we'll see what happens next year.
There's always next time.
Yep. Next time. Joy of being a new hunter, learning as you go.
Well, I appreciate you joining. It's been a lot of fun hearing a different perspective of somebody that's relatively new to hunting.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. It was lots of fun.
I can tell you have a lot of passion about hunting.
I do. I love it. I have a lot to learn and I plan to keep learning and keep doing it even with the mess ups and all of that. Just keep giving myself grace. Be like, this is a hard sport. So stick with it.
Won't be too much longer. You'll be killing bigger deer than me.
Yeah, hopefully. And then let's move it to elk and then bear. Actually, maybe bear and then elk.
You'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again for joining.
All right. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.